What's up everyone, and welcome back to The Drive. Today, we are taking a trip back to the golden era of the late 80s and early 90s JDM scene. We're piloting the Mazda Savannah RX-7 GTX on Trial Mountain, trying to see where it stacks up against the grind, and of course, if it can take the lap record of 137 away from the Supra. Well, 202 horsepower, 2,755 pounds, and a turbocharged rotary engine, it does have a chance. And now we're at the starting line. 3, 2, 1, go. And the RX-7 has taken off. Now, if we talk about the real-world performance hierarchy of this era, the FC occupies an incredibly special sweet spot. Out of all the standard upgradable road cars you can pull out of the used car lots, the RX-7s are just some of the most beautifully composed machines on a racetrack. They give you the predictable controllability that makes high-speed cornering an absolute joy, without any of the wishy-washiness or snap-snap oversteer that you find in some of the early mid-engine NSXs or heavy RWD platforms in this game. And unlike some cars like the Demio, this thing has both handling and power, getting to 60 in the low 7-second range. Under the hood, we are dealing with the legendary 13B twin-scroll turbo rotary engine, putting down right around 202 to 215 horsepower depending on your specific model trim. But what makes the FC so incredibly rewarding in Gran Turismo 1 is how it balances its power-to-weight ratio. Sitting right around 1,250 kilograms to 1,280 kilograms, it's a bit heavier than a stripped-out A86 or a CRX, but it carries its mass perfectly. Watch the car as it enters the blind, sweeping left-hander right before the back straight. With an FR car in GT1, you are usually terrified of the rear tires turning into a bar of soap. But the FC's chassis geometry behaves beautifully. If you lift off the throttle just a fraction on turn-in, the nose tucks right into the apex. You can roll back onto the accelerator smoothly without the car breaking into a chaotic 360-degree spin. The RX-7 also features some pretty cool tech. The RX-7 features a piece of real-world engineering that Polyphony Digital tried its best to simulate using primitive 1997 code, passive rear-wheel steering. Under light cornering loads, the rear suspension forces the rear tires to toe out slightly, helping the car pivot sharply into a corner like a short wheelbase hatchback. The GT1 catch. Under heavy cornering loads, the system switches to toe in for stability. In GT1, this means if you enter the high-speed trial mountain tunnels smoothly, the FC rotates beautifully. But if you jerk the wheel too hard, the rear end changes its mind mid-corner, causing a sudden snap that can throw you off your line. The GTX also utilizes the second-generation, twin-scroll turbocharged 13B rotary, generating 202 horsepower and 184 feet-lb of torque in stock form. Because it is a twin-scroll single-turbo, the power delivery in GT1 is incredibly linear. Unlike the peaky VTEC engines, the GTX has a fat mid-range torque curve. When climbing the mountain out of the slow corners, it won't bog down or fall out of its power band. By the way, the first lap split was a 1:45 that's on pace for like a 1:35 lap time. Let's try to keep it clean in this last sector. Alright family. Here we go, the final 20 seconds. This is where the men are separated from the boys on this circuit. Watch the composure of this chassis as we head down the hill. A lot of RWD cars want to wander and get loose right here, but the FC is tracking straight as an arrow, completely unbothered. Boom. Right over the curbs. Look at that landing. No snap, no panic, no crowd killer, Mustang sliding into the pit wall. The moment those tires touch the pavement, the smooth, linear torque of that rotary just hooks up and drives the car forward. The factory gearing is keeping us perfectly in the sweet spot of the boost. And boom, 137.543, just off the Supra. That's crushing but a valiant effort. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more action-packed videos. And now, Blacktop out.